Hello everyone, and today we're just going to be doing a bit of laddering here, trying to get the Diamond 1 before the ranked season ends. Because we've been using a few funky decks recently on the channel, we actually have fallen down the ranks a good little bit, so the pressure's on here in the next few days and the next week or so to try and get the Diamond 1. So the next couple of videos are basically just going to be trying to ladder with a couple of different of the more competitive decks we put on the channel before. And of course, if we're talking competitive, we're talking Sword Souls. Everyone knows how this deck works. I've made several videos on it already. We're not playing the Aurora Dawn engine in this particular version because I was favouring a more go second type deck. We wanted a couple more of the going second base cards, so an extra Maxx, a few Lightning Storms, things like that. Purely because sometimes whenever I was using the deck, I was struggling a little bit more going second than what I would have liked. Again, another Ecclesia is also a good card to be playing in that situation, something like that. This is the version of it I have been using, so we're going to take that. I have a few games here recorded, we're going to review those. And we do face off against quite a few cool decks from opponents. That's going to give us a few ideas for things we can do later on down the channel. So if you see anything you like, or if you have anything else you do want me to cover, again, leave your suggestions down below. I'll get around to them, have a look at them as soon as they're basically, as soon as I get a chance to. And if you do like what you're seeing or like any of the other content on the channel, please do subscribe and hit the like button. It does help me out an awful lot. But yeah, let's move in into game number 1. Alright, so game number 1 here. What I've been noticing an awful lot of in Diamond is more than likely to counter the rise of Sword Souls. We've been seeing a lot of like blind going second decks that just are designed in under all circumstances just to break your opponent's board no matter what. And we're going to see an example of that here. So we're going to standard Sword Soul players, everyone knows how this deck works. Anyone who's been in Diamond and probably even Platinum has seen this time and time again. I also have several videos on it on the channel here. So we're going to summon a Grandmaster, we draw one off Mo Ye, search for Grandmaster, we discard our Taia to summon out the Strategist, which will allow us to go into Baron de Fleur, and then we're going to use our Emergence. Because we now control a Synchro Monster, we can use Emergence to search for Protos, add Protos to our hand, and then we'll summon it and lock our opponent out of Dark Monsters. So pretty decent board here, very difficult one to break for most decks, but our opponent here, he's not going to waste any time. He's going to basically use this as a free draw one. He's going to kaiju us immediately. He's going to tribute our Baron de Fleur, Sec is Light, which is basically what, draw 3, return 1. Which is really strong. He's going to go Pancratops here, special summon Pancratops out, and then he'll special summon Alpha. This is what I mean by big board breakers. People are just playing non-stop. He's going to swing into our Grandmaster here. We're going to negate the Alpha just to be sure. He's going to destroy our Monk of the Tenyi as well, but we still have Protos. Protos, of course, being a very strong monster, so we're going to use its effect here, destroy Earth and lock our opponent out of Earth monsters. They go to Veiler us to stop that from happening, but we have Caught by the Grave set, so we're going to very easily negate that Veiler and resolve our Protos. So that gets banished and thus negated, and then our Protos will basically locks him out of special summoning Earth monsters and destroys all Earth monsters on the field. We're going to go in the another Synchro play here with the Grandmaster, and our opponent quits, which, fair enough. Again, those types of decks, we've seen it in a couple of videos here and there on the channel going against them, but they seem to be on the rise almost, and it seems to be primarily as an answer to Sword Souls. So if you're, again, sick of seeing Sword Souls and you want to have like a bit of a counter to them, that's one idea. You can absolutely go for that one. But yeah, we'll not linger too much on game number 1 here. Let's get into game number 2. Okay, game number 2. Now we're going second this time, so this is what I meant earlier on. Now we're going up against Prank Kids. Now I don't know Prank Kids very well. I do roughly sort of know how they work, so I wasn't sure if an Ash here was the best thing, but I figured we'll do it and we'll learn. So he summons out the Roxy's to go into Meow Meow Moo. It's going to banish a card from his hand to get summoning. He actually had the Nemesis Corridor in his hand to shuffle back the Scythe Frame Driver to go into Colossus. And now that's amazing. That automatically, I knew this guy's deck is something else. I'm almost certainly going to lose this game. But he really was, this deck is really cool. Prank Kids seem like a very budget friendly, very powerful deck. So if you're looking for something that maybe isn't quite as budget heavy as Sword Souls, or if you're just sick of seeing Sword Souls, then Prank Kids is definitely a very good alternative at the minute. I'm definitely going to have a look at those sometime soon. So he sets up his board here. Now this doesn't look like much, but what this basically is, because of his setup, he's going to be able to fusion summon our turn into the Battle Butler. Using the Butler, he's basically going to be able to Regeki our board twice. And it's as simple as that. And with Colossus on board, we're not able to search our deck for cards, which is going to really slow us down here. Yep, he's going to bounce his Link Monster back to grab 2 of the Prank Kids. Now that he has 3 different Prank Kids here, he's going to be able to fusion summon using his face down quick play spell, which is here it is here. Prank Kids Pandemonium. Now this is the big play of the deck. This is what wins this deck games. The Butler here, basically it would tribute itself in order to destroy all your opponent's monsters, but because the Meow Meow Moo is in the graveyard, it can banish itself in place of that tribute. Now he resolves a whole bunch of the Prank Kids effects here. I'm not going to describe each one, but they basically just allow you to special summon and then have like a small additional effect, like, you know, gain 1,000 life, something like that. But they all basically just special summon additional Prank Kids out of the field. Generates a whole load of advantage. We normal summon our Mo Ye here, reveal the card. The Butler will resolve its first Raigeki, destroying our Mo Ye and the Ashuna. Now we still get our token because he did it in Chain Link 2. Our effect still resolves at Chain Link 1, so we still get our token. Ashuna will banish itself from grave to summon a Vishuda from the deck. I was sort of hoping he would go for something there, but he doesn't. We discard Emergence since it's useless under Colossus. He Regekis us again. All we have is Blackout here. There's nothing we can do with just a Blackout. So we're going to let him go off here a little bit. He's going to go into Totally Awesome, and as soon as I saw Totally Awesome, I thought, that's it. There's not a chance. His deck is really, really, really cool. I'm going to put a picture of it up on the screen here. That is, while we're not going to use his deck exactly as it is, I'm definitely going to be doing a bit of research into Prank Kids and doing a bit of testing and practice with them. It seems like they've only got one core UR to the deck. I'm also going to be stealing his Nemesis Corridor tech. That was really cool. But yeah, that's duel number 2. If you are looking for other, if you're looking towards competitive sort of diamond play, don't think that Sword Souls is the beginning and end. You have the likes of Prank Kids, of Tri-Brigades, Eldritch, these other decks that can keep up and counter it just as well. So bear that in mind, and we'll get into game number 3. Okay, game number 3 against Scipio here. We're playing against Eldritch, another one of those sort of top competitive decks. One that, again, a lot of people aren't very happy is performing very well, but I can envision why. It's very, very simplistic and straightforward. It locks people out of a lot of plays. He's just going to go Fusion Destiny into DPE and then set 2. So not a lot of stuff going on here. We're going to hit the Desires off the bat. We're going to get hit with Imperial Order. Now this is part of why people hate this deck, because of its floodgates. Fortunately for us, in this particular instance, we can actually play around this floodgate because we don't really care too much about spells. It is a shame that we didn't get our draw 2 and we can't use our Emergence, but it isn't the end of the world. We summon Adhara and he's going to preemptively pop the Adhara to stop us from link summoning, but that suits us down to the ground. We're going to go into the Strategist here. For some reason he activates Aquero and I don't know why, but it's fine. We're going to inflict 1200 points of damage. We'll destroy the Aquero because we don't really care too much about his back row. Again, it doesn't really hurt us or slow us down, so we don't care too much. Now we do make a big misplay here. We banish the 3 to summon the Protos and we choose Dark and destroy our own Berserker. The idea was stop him from summoning DPE, but we should have done that before summoning, before basically synchro summoning. So we didn't think that all the way through. We did have quite a big, heavy sort of misplay there. It did cost us lethal. Be careful when you're using Protos. Again, this is just me trying to ladder. I was sort of autopiloting a little bit. It happens. He doesn't get to bring back his DPE though, so that's something. We'll take what we can out of the situation. He's going to try and Raigeki us here, which we can't really afford not to negate. We're going to stop that with our Baron de Fleur. That does mean it's effectively now just a 3k beat stick, but you know, it is what it is. Celestial here is going to grab him an additional 2 cards, but apparently they're both useless because he just passes. So either this is an extremely unlucky Eldritch player or it's not a very good one. So you take your pick. We draw into Blackout here, which is a good card. Very, very strong here, especially in combination with Protos, because your Protos can't be destroyed by card effects. So it doesn't really care about that. Now we are going to declare Light off of our Protos to destroy that Eldritch, but he is summoning Balor Drogout, but we're just going to use Baron de Fleur to pop it as well, and then swing with Protos. Very, very straightforward. A lot of people out there would put Sword Souls and Eldritch in that same bracket of very toxic base decks. I don't think I would. Eldritch I think is more toxic purely because Floodgates. I just think Floodgates are bad for the game. Like Protos, even Protos itself is just not a healthy card to be allowed. I do think Sword Souls definitely needs a few nerfs. I don't think Eldritch does, to be honest. It's not overwhelmingly powerful. I think it's very, very manageable in the current metagame. We have a lot of things that can keep up with it, so that's fine. But Sword Souls I think definitely needs a bit of a slap on the wrist here. I think it needs Protos taken off of it. I think it just needs banned for a start. And some of the other sort of core cards maybe need limited or semi-limited. But yeah, that's game number 3 up against Eldritch here as we're climbing on through. Let's get into game number 4, which is against one of the more interesting decks currently on the ladder that I've been seeing. So let's get into it. Okay, game number 4 here up against Stella, and Stella's deck was really, really cool. It's one that I'm seeing on the rise a little bit currently in Diamond. Now, most of the people I've played against using it have really sort of been misplaying very heavily. Stella is the first person I've gone against using it who hasn't, and she's played the deck very, very well. So let's get in and see what it's capable of. We're going to go into pretty standard plays here. We have our Baron de Fleur, we have our Grandmaster, and we have then Ash Call by the Grave. We're going to search for Emergence, so Emergence can grab us Protos. And because we already had the Strategist, it was just handy. So we're going to use Protos then. We're going to lock our opponent out of Dark because we don't yet know what they're playing. We're going to set one and pass. So again, very strong, very standard field. The thing about Sword Souls is this field is available virtually in every game. He goes to Lightning Storm us, which we have to negate. So again, that's one of the biggest things at the minute. Like playing against Sword Souls, you just need to find as many ways to pop them as possible. It's going to go for the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, which is a brutally powerful card. We do have Ash to negate it, but that eats up 2 of our interruptions already, and our opponent hasn't even gotten started. He's playing Crusadia. So he's going to summon out the Magius, which is going to trigger Parallel Exceed. Parallel Exceed will summon another Parallel Exceed from the deck, and Magius is going to grab him a Crusadia monster. So very, very good opening here. How this deck seems to work is you go Magius to search for a monster, then you link into Regulus. Regulus, when a monster is summoned underneath it, will search for a spell or trap, a Crusadia spell or trap. Then you use those two to go into Equimax, which is a big, just OTK machine. The field spell means that it gains 500 attack and it can attack all of your opponent's monsters. This monster here, Maximus, doubles the battle damage it would inflict. We go to negate it, but he can tribute a Crusadia monster he points to negate a card in your opponent's field. So he has that built-in interruption, and he is just a brutal OTK machine here. All the damage he does is doubled, and he can attack everything on our field, so not great. He doesn't have a negate anymore because he has to tribute a Crusadia monster. And his attack points, you'll notice the attack going up and down. He basically gains attack points equal to that of all of the monsters he points to. So bear that in mind. So our Adhara then, we're going to summon out Monk of the Tenyi. Adhara is going to add back Taia because we banished it earlier on off of Protos. We're going to banish a monster for a token here. We're going to use these two to go into Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. Taia is going to send another monster to Grave. Now they're going to try and hit us with the Moonlit Chill on our Berserker, but we're going to hit that with Call by the Grave because this is our win condition. We're going to swing in the Parallel Exceed, destroy it to gain 1,000 attack points and reduce his attack down. Then we can swing into the Equimax and destroy it then. But our opponent sees that coming. They know exactly what's going to happen, so they decide to cut their losses there. But that was a series of very, very impressive plays from the Crusadia player. That is 100% a deck I'm probably going to be building at some point soon. It is super straightforward. The combo itself seems relatively simple. Magius, Regulus, Equimax, win. So I'm going to be having a look at it, seeing what other people are doing with it, and seeing if I can maybe take the recipe and build on it from there. But yes, that's game number 4. We're gonna head back onto the deck profile. We're not really doing a deck profile. I've already done it a dozen times. So we're just going to be talking very briefly about it and it's a couple of ideas just for the channel going forward. So let's get into that section. Alright, so here is once again the deck that we were using in those games. If you want to copy it, by all means, here it is for you. Now, in terms of this sort of road to Diamond 1 type content in the future, I was actually thinking about potentially doing a live gameplay if that's something you guys would like to see, instead of just, you know, these pre-recorded matches. I know the pre-recorded matches are a lot quicker, you can fit more games in, and the commentary is more concise, so it seems better from an analysis perspective. But if you would rather just see live gameplay, or if you think even live streaming would be an option or something people would like, again, leave your suggestions down below. Let me know what you think would be best formatting. We're not going to be using this to climb all the way up, although given my time frame, a lot of the other decks here, I don't believe are going to be able to get me to Diamond 1 in time, so it may be Sword Souls basically until we get to the top. So we may be seeing just the type of content across the channel change in the next couple of days. But yeah, as always, leave your suggestions down below. Any decks you want to see me build, any things you want me to see me do, or any other games you want to see me play. I've been really strongly wanting to put Pokemon Unite content and things like that on the channel. We'll get to that pretty soon. But other than that, I've got nothing else really to say at this stage. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.